Welcome 2023. This is a new year, new experience. I hope the people have and enjoy the parties and everything. And we are happy today start our program with two guests. Well, three, but two ladies interview this program. And they say, welcome to Blanca, Vera. Hello, Blanca. Nice to see you in this year.
Hello, Giuseppe. Happy 2023. I hope you and your family had a very celebrating Christmas, New Year. All the best for you and your team in this 2023. And looking forward to work together. Well, of course, supporting each other and I saw that I can say, sorry.
and that's the first year, the new year is the first program in 2023, and we have another lady interview in this program. Hello, Luisa, welcome back.
Hola, hola, buenos días, comunidad latina. Good morning, happy new year. Happy to be here back with you guys. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Estamos muy felices, sí, esta entrevista es en inglés porque, a ver, cuéntanos, Luisa, ¿quién tenemos invitada el día de hoy?
Tenemos una gran sorpresa, una persona que yo la llamo mi ángel. She's like an angel to me, and it's an honor to introduce her today. Her name is Marija Pavkovic Tovissi. She is the CEO and owner of Makami College, so she's here with us today.
Welcome to Makami College.
Good morning, Marija.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2023.
Yeah.
It's so much energy. It's 2023, is the first week of 2023. So yeah, we are excited. And Maria, thank you so much for taking time of your busy schedule.
Of course, no problem.
How was it, your celebrations, Maria? Too much party or work? Because I know you just work.
You know, I love Christmas. Christmas is probably my favorite holiday of the entire year. It's the time of year where we get all our family and friends together. My family and I, we really like to cook. So we spend a lot of time in the kitchen. We like, have a young daughter. So we like Christmas cookie baking and lots of activities. And my life is pretty hectic. So Christmas time is probably the only time I actually get to just relax, sit back, have a glass of hot cocoa by the fireplace. So that to me is heaven. So we had a great Christmas. I hope all of you did as well.
That's awesome, Maria. Thank you again for giving us your time. And more is the first week of 2023. So it's glad to have you here with us. And more because you've been a great support or incredible opportunities you give to our culture. So we are very blessed and very happy to have this interview with you because we know how busy you are. So thank you so much. And it's nice to have you finally with our Latino community in Edmonton and Ottawa. Giuseppe is there right now. His program is Canada-wise. We are able to be in different places, different provinces, thanks to Giuseppe and his program. He is in radio shows and all social media, so it's incredible how we can share the good news that Makami has for our community.
Wow, so, very impressive.
Maria, we would like to start with some kind of introducing you, please, about Makami College. We know that it's a own private vocational college, and it's growing and it's incredible, but it's better to hear from you. So could you please give us an introduction of what Makami is or how Makami born? That would be awesome.
Sure, absolutely. So Makami College has been around for 2 decades now, so more than 20 years. We have campuses in both Edmonton and Calgary. It was founded basically because I was inspired by my parents' plight to get educated as immigrants here in Canada. So our family is originally from former Yugoslavia, and my brother and I came here as young children. And my parents, although they had good jobs back home, when they came to Canada, none of us spoke a word of English. And they had to prove that they were who their educational paperwork said they were from another country, because none of it really was applicable here in Canada. And I think that was really hard. It was really hard for them, because they were trying to just financially provide for our family. I think it was hard on my father, and men especially identify a lot with their careers as to who they are, and to be stripped of that was really difficult. And then to add on the challenges of learning a whole new language, and English is not the easiest language to learn, as I'm sure everyone knows. It was really tough. And so my parents were resilient enough that they really understood this concept of, we have to get education here in Canada in order to be successful, in order to get a good job, in order to buy a nice house, in order to pay for our kids' lessons, for activities. And so my mom really was the catalyst. She started immediately looking into ESL classes for all of us. She then had this dream of becoming a nurse in Canada. It was something she wanted to do back home, but never had the opportunity. And so she couldn't really start there. So she pursued, first ESL classes, and then she went into some courses, and then she eventually ended up becoming a licensed practical nurse, a holistic practitioner, a massage therapist, a Reiki master. She took like 50 different designations. And a lot of it was every time she would go into a classroom, sometimes the schools were very nice, accommodating. Sometimes they weren't. Sometimes they would say, look to your left, look to your right. Half of you won't be here by the time graduation rolls around. And they seemed to be very proud of that concept, that they were going to weed people out so that only the toughest, the strongest could survive in this class. And as a child, learning English a little bit quicker than your parents do, because you're immersed in it more so in school, I had to go and translate a lot of the time for them. What are you signing? What's the teacher saying? Well, let's see what this orientation is all about. And it kind of shocked me. I remember being 12, 13, 14 and thinking to myself, my parents work so hard. They have 2 jobs. They're going to night school for ESL. I'm cooking dinner for my brother. I'm walking him to school. And here are these people who are taking their money, and they're saying to them, we're going to try to force you to fail because you have to be tough to survive us. And I couldn't understand why they would take that approach. And I'm not saying all the schools did, but it seemed to be like a running theme in the conversations I had. And my dad went on to do journeyman welding. He became a journeyman electrician, and he took on 4 different trades and certificates and tried to start his own business. And he had a very similar experience, and I think only the fact that they were strong, stubborn Europeans and immigrants helped them to survive all of that. And it was really tough for them. But what was interesting to me is every time we would go to one of these graduation ceremonies, and how happy my parents were and the people that were all around them cheering, how many children would be in the audience, and just thinking about how impacted those children would be, because these people survived this educational process and now we're able to do something to better their lives. And I remember it wasn't tangible at the time, but I look back on it now, and I remember every time they graduated from a new program, shortly thereafter, we moved from a really crappy apartment to one that was a little nicer, from a basement suite to a main floor. Then we were able to buy a little tiny house that my dad had to fix up, and then a little bigger house and a little nicer house. And then all of a sudden, my brother and I were in Kung Fu classes, piano lessons, skating lessons, things that we couldn't have even dreamed of affording when we initially showed up in Canada. And I look back now as an adult thinking the sacrifices they made changed our lives generationally. I have a 12-year-old daughter. That daughter will never know poverty thanks to the sacrifices my parents made. And we lived through, pretty much really terrible poverty when we first came to Canada. And to think about that generational change almost in one generation is so significant, right? When we think of how many people are suffering now with inflation and high prices, and how many struggles they have to deal with and overcome when they come to Canada, to be able to do something in a short period of time of a year, 2 years of education, and then get a good career, be able to financially support their children. Then their children go to university, because they say, that's the one thing my parents always said, if I at this age with my English can go to school and graduate, you have no excuse. You have to go to school. And pushing my brother and I to go to school, and then we're able to get a little better career and a little better job and start our own businesses and have opportunities they never even dreamed of. Is pretty impactful. I truly believe that education, the right kind, can create generational change in families for years to come, and the positive impacts of those just pay dividends forever and ever. So that's kind of how Makami was founded. We basically started the college in 2001, a couple of decades ago, with this dream to help people, to not look at people and say, half of you are going to fail. But what can I do to remove barriers? What can you do to remove your own barriers so that we can work together to make you successful? Because when you're successful, not only do you benefit, your spouse benefits, your children, your grandchildren, and the community as a whole, right? Benefits when somebody's being able to financially support themselves and do good in the world.
I think, Maria, this is a very inspirational story. And I think every time that you are around the campus saying hello to everybody, you are an inspiration for everybody, Maria. You open doors and you said, hey, nothing is impossible, because maybe you live it, right, when you were a kid. And this country is based or made of immigrants, right?
Yeah.
And we are thank you for you and your vision to open a school which is private and offer support for our students, Maria. We have in previous programs graduates from massage therapy, healthcare aid, and they are grateful for the opportunity that they have at Makami, not because they are just immigrants, but because they didn't believe to have an opportunity to study, to have a second career, raise their kids, etc. Maria, what are your thoughts about these people?
You know, I love it. For me, I never wanted to wake up in the morning and just have a job. My brother and I really believe in legacy, and we believe in a purpose-driven career. And for me, I love hearing these stories. After 2 decades of doing this, I think seeing all these students graduate, having students come up and hug me that say, you know, I never thought that this was possible. I was so scared to apply, and then I applied and got in, and then I was so scared I almost gave up so many times, you know, when things got a little hard. But everyone helped me, and look, you know, here I am graduating and grabbing my diploma and walking the stage. I think, you know, fear is so difficult to deal with that it can be crippling. This fear of not being successful, of not being accepted, of maybe not being able to do this at a certain age with a certain language barrier. That's what Makami really works to try to remove. We try to remove barriers to entry. So we look at things like, how do you finance a course? Are there grants available? We look at, do you need childcare? Is there daycare centers close by? Makami is actually starting daycare centers in 2 of our campuses right away here to look at ways to help you know, single moms and young families deal with childcare needs. Because if you don't have childcare for your children, how do you go to school, right? There's all these things that stop somebody or prevent somebody from moving forward with this. And we've gotten really good at identifying what some of those things are and trying our best to remove those barriers. Then when somebody enters into the program, there's all these barriers to success, their own insecurities, the challenges of maybe working full time and having a family and responsibilities, trying to go to school. Sometimes there's tutoring needs because somebody needs a little more help than somebody else. And so we look at, we've created all sorts of departments that are very unique to Makami that don't exist at every school, where we offer free ESL classes to support you with your learning. We offer free tutoring if you need help. We have disability supports if you're somebody that has any concerns with disabilities, or something as simple as test anxiety can be crippling. So how do we help you with that? We have psychologists on staff that we provide free counseling if you just need some help and support. We've had social workers, occupational therapists, all sorts of people on our faculty, because what we're looking to do is help support the student holistically. And I think in this day and age, that doesn't really exist in a lot of post-secondary environments. Education is very funny. They say technology changes every 11 months now, right? You get a new iPhone every year, but education hasn't changed for 75 years. It was kind of created in the 1950s and has continued on in that fashion with a chalkboard and a piece of chalk and paper and books. And there's been nothing revolutionary about it. And I think in this day and age, education really needs a revolution. It needs some change to find a holistic approach to how to help people learn, because not everyone is the same. Not everyone can sit still. Not everyone is a visual learner. Not everyone is somebody, sometimes people need to hear it, see it, touch it, feel it to experience it. And so what makes Makami different is we look at the student as an individual, not as some mashed up group of people. And then we focus on what is going to make that student succeed. What strengths does that student has that make them more, focus on one program versus another? And our job is to just help guide them on that pathway and provide them resources and tools so that they can be successful and kind of grab on to where they want to go with their educational journey.
It's incredible, Marija. I hear you, like I've been with you for 10 years, and I still just listening you to speak, just it's like a charge in my battery to continue doing what we do, because it's not only for students. Us as a staff, we wouldn't be here without the opportunity that you bring to us. Like to many of us, staff speaking, it's we are where we are. Thanks because Makami exists. Thanks because of your vision and our families. And now we can, like when you were telling your story, it's like I see my family in the same situation, with the only difference I'm not all in the college, because I'm part of your dream and your vision, and that's beautiful.
Oh, thanks, Luisa.
It's so good to feel and be part of this incredible dream that one day you had, and now look at you where we are now, with 3 beautiful campuses, many programs to offer to the community and many communities. So thank you, Marija. And my question now is, what is one of the most challenge you face as a private college? Like, of course, being a private is not the same as a public institution that receives funding from the program. So what challenge do you have to face every time or every year to be able to be alive?
Well, I think it's important to note that we don't get any government funding. Our students are entitled to apply for financial aid and grants and loans in various capacities, whether that's with student aid, with banks, with different organizations and groups like Queen Esther. But the college itself, we don't receive any additional funding. So we have to be very smart, and we have to be very creative with how we use those funds to grow as much as we've grown. And, our focus is always the student. Our client is the students. We want to make sure that they're happy, that they feel like the money that they're using towards their education has been well utilized for them and has made them successful and has created opportunities for them. And so we do all sorts of things to make sure our students are happy in various ways, and we listen to them and we ask for feedback for them, and we're always looking to improve, and we continue to do that. As a challenge with the private school, I wouldn't really see it as a challenge, but I think it's our goal to be really successful. So we have very high graduation success rates. So if you look at our student demographic, you're talking about people who maybe aren't 18 years old, right? They're anywhere from kind of 25 to 55. And we've had people even older than that to take the program. You have people in second careers with challenges with their family. You have a lot of immigrants and newcomers. You have Indigenous students. You have students who are single moms. You have students with disabilities. We focus on people that maybe won't be successful in traditional forms of education. So we have to have a lot of services and programs to help support that general public, and what we're looking to do at Makami. And so with all of those challenges, we still have one of the highest graduation success rates across Alberta, and we have almost 100% job placement success rate. So what's incredible with that is you take everyone with all their challenges and you still are seeing the majority of people graduate from their programs. And I always say to students, if you commit to showing up, we commit to teaching you and making sure you make it past the finish line. The only people I can't help are the ones that skip class, and don't show up physically to campus. But if you show up, if you're trying, I will move mountains to make sure that you have the resources you need to get to that finish line. So don't be scared. Don't be fearful. Don't think about all the things you can't do or all the challenges you have. come see us. We've got a lot of experts that work with students to say, what do we need to do to help this individual succeed? Do they need to take the exams by themselves? Do we need a reader for the exams? Does somebody need a disability help? Does somebody need tools like electronics and stuff for different parts of the program? We will work to do whatever is necessary to help each individual student succeed. All we require for them is to just show up and give us a chance. You know, do your best to pay attention, try to learn, and we'll get you to the finish line.
You know, ladies, it's very interesting because it's it's a nice feeling because the guests we have in every show is connect that where the idea the Marie, the CEO, is the same to the students. Say, you know, Makami for me is inspirational. They growing. I can grow. You know, I care my family. All that what you say is nice because it's the same feeling and the same experience that reflect the students and the postgraduate people. My question is, it's very interesting because I would like to know, when the students come with you at Makami College, they have two opportunities. They say, okay, I work for a company or I open my own company. How you can arrive at have this specific type of program? Because it's very complicated, because most fields say, okay, you have this program, but you go for this company. It is the only option you have. And when the people come to Makami, in any program, say, okay, you can work for your own or you can work for a company.
Right. Yeah, you know, I think partly it's my entrepreneurial nature that wants to open people's mind up to the possibilities, you know. I've always been an entrepreneur. I started my first business, I think, when I was 14 years old. My brother and I started a snow shoveling company as teenagers because our parents couldn't afford to buy certain stuff. So we were always brainstorming, what can we do? Hey, there's a need. We have a lot of elderly people in our neighborhood. They're going to get injured if they have to shovel their walks. Maybe we can go and help them. And we started doing that just volunteer. And all of a sudden they started giving us $20 here and there. And, you know, my brother started making contracts. They said, every time it snows, you come to my house, you know, I'll pay you $20. So, you know, we started our own business very, very young. And I think that sometimes people think of this idea of starting business as this big thing. I have to go to the bank. I have to borrow money. I have to get into debt. I have to have a business degree. And, you know, the one thing I love about Canada is that anything is possible here.
Yeah.
Anything is not possible in certain places around the world. There are places around the world where it's not possible to be an entrepreneur. It's not possible to be a female entrepreneur. It's not possible to be standing in front of you today with my hair uncovered. There's so many things that are going on around the world, but not in Canada. Our Canada is a beautiful place where anything really is possible. And I think sometimes we have to awaken that in people to light the spark of this entrepreneurial dream. If you want to work for somebody else and have security and a good paying job and something that you love, great, that's wonderful. But if there's a passion in you to create something, to innovate, to design something the way that you dreamed, imagine it, there shouldn't be anything that stops you. So I'm somebody who has 15 different companies, believe it or not. Makami is just one of them. Yep. So I'm what they call a serial entrepreneur. I really enjoy starting something up. And over the years, I've become really good at it. In the business world, we would call it a quick start, you know, something that can be launched very, very quickly and very lean. So you don't need a lot of money and stuff like that. And so what I've done is try to implement that in some of our curriculums to show students how that's possible, to open their mind to the possibilities of that. We've run business workshops and courses to kind of educate them on what you need to be a part of that. I mean, for example, for a massage therapist, it's very easy. You need a city license in either Calgary or Edmonton. You'd need a portable massage table, which you can buy for about $200. And some sheets and gels. And then you can start a very simple business with some business cards. You can start by going to your friends and family's houses. You can, expand on a referral basis to those friends and family. You can have them come into your house. Then you can get a little space and you can do something where it doesn't cost you millions of dollars and you start to build on that. And it's been really exciting to see the stories of success. So sometimes on our Facebook page and stuff, we play these videos of these students who have started these big businesses and they come back now and hire 10 more students, you know, and they're adding employees. And It's really neat to see it all come full circle, and I'm just so honored to be such a small part of that, where I was able to plant a seed, or Makami was able to plant a seed of entrepreneurialism in them. But now they have their own businesses and are creating these amazing organizations and providing employment for other people that wouldn't have been employed had they not created these opportunities. So it's just really fun and exciting, and a huge honor to be even a part of that.
That's so true, Marija. Thank you. It's so true. Like in Canada, I realized too that if I dream, my dreams come true, because it's just to be like working for your dreams and they become true. And with places and opportunities like you bring to many people, that's possible too. So Makami, it's one of those opportunities that we cannot let pass. Like thank you for inviting them to come and not be scared to ask, because that's the program that we face as immigrants when we are not very strong in our English, we're not very strong in the culture. But opportunities like Makami bring to us as immigrants, it's above and beyond. So come, let us share the good news for you guys.
Yeah, it's funny because I do understand that English can be very scary, and in the wrong school, it can be also very dangerous, because you're going into an environment where if they don't have those kinds of supports to help somebody whose language is not English as their first language, it can be a little scary, right? But at Makami, we've gone out of our way. Being immigrants, like people look at me and they don't consider me an immigrant, but I am an immigrant. I was not born in Canada. English is like my third language, believe it or not. It's not my first, right? But they look at me and they think, oh, like just like any other school, here's the CEO, she's this white lady who speaks English, but it's not true, And I come from a family who still to this day barely speaks English. I have got grandparents and a mother-in-law and stuff like that with thick accents. And so I've lived this. I understand what the challenges are. I'm in a unique position and situation, leadership, to be like, I know what this feels like. How can I make that pathway easier for others? What resources do they need to be successful, and how fast can we help them and immerse them in this? So not only are we helping them get an education, we're helping improve their English, because one of the ways you improve your English the fastest is to be immersed in an educational experience where a lot of people are speaking English with you. Because think about it, at home, if you're comfortable speaking Spanish, you're going to speak Spanish with your children, with your spouse. And the challenge with learning any new language is if you're not practicing it in a social environment, it doesn't come as quickly. The second you have an opportunity to practice it in a relaxing social environment, not when you're stressed out or trying to have a government meeting, but like when you're talking with friends over lunch and you're sharing, kind of that language barrier drops away a lot faster. And so I'm somebody who can relate, who understands, and who works really, really hard to make sure that it's easier for the people that are coming kind of in our footsteps, right?
Right. Marija, during these 2 decades that you have been part of Makami, you have seen it growing. Do you think that in the last 3 years, Makami will grow so fast? I know you work 24/7 because I know a little bird tells me. But do you think that was possible to grow up so fast with many programs, with many options for more people, or different options? Do you think that was possible?
I'm the type of person who thinks anything is possible. I've always thought anything is possible. And so I was very young when we got involved in starting the college, and I had big dreams, and I really imagined an incredible place that could be a community college, a safe haven for people to get educated, because I believe education is the great equalizer. And so I had definitely imagined it. I imagined it even bigger than it is today, and it continues to grow. I'm not done yet. We're not stopping anytime soon. But I think what made Makami grow so fast is the people. Our team is amazing. I think Richard Branson said it best when he says a company is just a group of people working together for the same goal. And our team is like the United Nations, just like our student population is so diverse, our team is so diverse. They speak many languages. They've come from all over the world. They have all of this diverse experience that they're able to share with our students. And our team makes our college so great, and they work tirelessly to help our students in all these different areas, and they really care and have empathy and sympathy and compassion. And then they themselves, as teachers and as receptionists, understands what it might have been like to come from another country. And they continue to make us great and continue to help us grow. And our growth comes a lot from our students. So we don't spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising. The majority of students come from referrals from graduated students that have completed the program successfully. Our first class was 8 students. Those 8 students referred the next class of 24 students. Those 24 referred the next class and the next class and the next class. And it's been a snowball effect of people who've just been really happy with their education, friends and family of theirs that have seen this person become really successful after graduating from Makami and saying, wow, I want a piece of that. And they also don't have great English, or they also are a little bit further along in their career. And if they could do it, maybe I could too. And that's created this kind of spiral effect of people being inspired by our students and their family members, and then wanting to try it themselves. And our students really have been our biggest marketing. They've been the ones that are really running around the community and just showing great examples of community spirit and success and entrepreneurialism. And it's been contagious. And that's what's really made Makami grow so much.
Thank you, Maria. Yes. I guess it's almost time to go because we don't want to take too much of your time, Maria. But what news do you have for our Latino community? Like, what more programs we can start to looking at for 2023? What news can you give us to maybe share a little bit?
Well, we're not supposed to release it until everything's finalized, but I can give you guys a little sneak peek if we keep it just between ourselves, right? So in addition to the massage therapy program that we currently have, healthcare aide, business admin, medical office assistant, master instructor in security, we're going to be adding in the new year culinary assistant, personal fitness trainer, early childhood developer, social media, digital marketing and management. And we have a couple other that I'm going to keep just quiet to myself because it's a little preliminary, but we've got about 10 more new programs that are going to be released. So we're really, really excited.
Maria, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for sharing the good news for the community, not just Latin community, but in general. Anything else that you would like to give you, like a message for the community, Maria?
Absolutely. I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. With a new year brings exciting new things. And for those of you that are interested in changing your life or getting a new career or thinking about education, I would encourage you not to be scared or fearful, but come and talk to us at Makami College. We'd be happy to chat with you and give you some advice and guidance along the way. And I hope that you have a beautiful new year, that you have many blessings coming to you. And we wish you all the best for yourself and your families.
Perfect, Maria. Thank you very much. Giuseppe?
Well, thank you so much, Maria. Thank you, Blanca. Thank you, Luisa, for the first program on 2023. And Maria, we say it's the first, but we sure not the last program you are with us. And we are happy. We are happy to share not only your experience, in also the connect with not only with the Latino community, because it's for the Latino, but for all the community have be part of Makami College. Thank you so much, and see you in the next show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Bye.
Bye.